Hello everyone and welcome back to another lecture in SolidWorks. In today's video we're going to be going over a few examples reinforcing some of the topics that we've covered in the last few videos. So let's go ahead and get started with a new part, and I'm going to pull up a PDF with a few examples that we're going to be working on. So the first part I'm going to work on is kind of like this jackhammer kind of shape. So if we take a closer look at it, we can kind of get a sense as to how we want to go about doing it. So the first thing that I notice is that we've got a lot of symmetry here, particularly about the vertical axis. These are all symmetric about this center line. So when I start this sketch, I want to make sure that I will start with a center line and go about adding in symmetric relations as we go. So let's go ahead and let's give this a shot. So I'm going to start with a new sketch. I'm going to click on the front plane, and I'm going to start with a center line. Make sure I send it right down through the origin. So let's go ahead and sketch the basic outline of the shape. So I'm just going to draw over, down, over, down, over, down, over, up, and close it off like this. I generally like to start with the basic outline of a shape and then go ahead and add in relations as dimensions after the fact. It's usually the easiest way to go, but it really depends on the kind of sketch that you're creating. So for this, let's start by adding in some relations. So I'm going to make this and this symmetric about this center line. So I'll select this line, and the center line, and I hit symmetric. Same thing here. Holding down Control, select this line, and this line. Symmetric. Same thing here. Symmetric. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in some dimensions. So I've got a dimension of 50 up here, so I'll go 50. I've got a dimension of 5 here, 25 here, and 20 here. Okay, so now let's start working our way through so we can get this thing fully dimensioned now. So I got a couple of different options to get this and this in line with each other. So I could do a collinear relation between this line and this line, but I want to take this moment to show you another relation which is called equal. So I'm going to select this line, hold down Control, and select this line, and I'm going to use the equal relation. That's just going to give it an equal dimension. So I'll click equal, and it'll make those two lines equal to each other. I'll do the same thing with this line and this line. Go equal, and I should have almost everything I need. Last thing I got to do is I want to go ahead and lock it into the origin. So I'm going to select this line, and I'm going to select the origin. So if you notice, there are two relations here. So I got a coincident and a midpoint relation. So if I just select coincident, it's just going to make this line coincident with the origin. Now it doesn't really care where on the line it's coincident. It just cares that it's on the origin. But if I select midpoint, it's going to find the midpoint of this line, which if I kind of hover over it, it's going to appear coincident with this origin. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that, and I'm going to lock it in like so. But let's take a closer look at it. Still got some blue lines. What am I missing? I'm missing this dimension here. From the drawing, it looks to be 10. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in now. And then I finally got a 20 down here. So I'll go add in 20. And now I've got a fully constrained sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and exit. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this sketch. So click File, save as, and I'm going to go ahead and create its own directory here. So it's very important when you're designing assemblies with multiple parts that you keep everything organized within a certain directory. So I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to title this lecture 1 examples. And I'm going to name this, go inside it, example 1. And I'm going to save it. Okay. Alright, let's take a look at another example. So looking at this PDF, I've got this other drawing. Looks to be making use of symmetry, both vertical and horizontal symmetry. So I'm going to go ahead and create this sketch, try to incorporate both horizontal and vertical center lines. So I'm going to come up here, up to the top, click on File, New, and I'm going to create a new part. Okay. So let's start with a sketch. So I'm going to click Sketch, Front Plane, and I'm going to start by putting in a center line. And then another center line that runs horizontal as well. Okay, so I've got in so it's running through the origin. I've got a vertical relation on this line and a horizontal relation on this line, so I know that I'm good. So I'm going to start by sketching the basic outline. I'll start with the outside. Over, down, over, down, over, down, over. So if you notice, you got this dashed line occurring. That's because it's guessing that I want to put that in line with that other point. So that's telling you that I'm creating a line of equal length. Over, 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 and close it off. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put in a center rectangle right on the origin, and that's going to be our inner contour. Alright, so let's go ahead and start adding in some relations. So I'm going to put in a symmetric relation here. Missing something. I'm missing, yep, the center line. Oh, so something after funny. So I'm going to hit escape a couple times, unselect everything, hold down control, select this, and select this. There we go. Now I've got it. Sometimes SolidWorks will be a little funky, and if it's acting a little funky where it's not quite selecting everything you want, hit escape a few times and clear everything out. Symmetric, that's good. Same thing here. Symmetric. And the same thing here. Alright, good. Now I've got all of my symmetry about this this vertical center line. I'll do the same thing here, here, and here, and here. Do symmetric. Okay. Now I'm going to start adding in some dimensions. So I've got a distance of 80 from this line to this line. So 80. I'll go ahead and I'll just left click on this dimension, drag it up like this, get it out of the way. And I've got a dimension of 10 here. So I'll click on Smart Dimension. 10. And do a dimension of 30 here. And a dimension of 10 here. Okay. So I'm going to kind of drag this line down a little bit here. I'm going to put in an equal relation between these two, holding down control, select both lines. Same thing here. And I've got a dimension of 30 here. And a dimension of 10 here. Okay. Now let's take a closer look. What blue lines do I still have? I've got um, missing a dimension here, and looking at my drawing, I've got a dimension of 15 here. And so I hit OK. Now I still got a few blue lines. I pull on this. That tells me that I'm missing a dimension, a horizontal dimension. So looking at this drawing, this line and this line are equal to each other. So I'll click on this line, hold down Control, select this line, hit equal, and I've got a fully constrained sketch now. Take a closer look at it. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next sketch. So for this sketch, I think it makes sense to start with this circle on the origin and work our way from there. So let's create a new part file. So I'm going to save this one, save as, save it in the same directory, example 2, and come back here to File, New part. Alright, so let's go Sketch, Front Plane, and I'm going to select this circle here. And I'm going to start drawing outward like that, and I'm going to draw another circle that I'm going to use as the outer arc. So I'm going to add in a dimension here. That's a dimension of 60. And then I've also got a dimension of 90 here. Alright. Excuse me, sorry, looking at the wrong drawing. This is actually going to be a dimension of 30. So if I double click on these dimensions again, I can go ahead and edit them. So I've got 60 there. Alright, that makes more sense. Alright, now I've got a line that comes this way and around. So I think I'm going to put in a horizontal center line. I think that might help us. So I'm going to draw a center line that goes right through the origin. I've got in that horizontal relation, and it's coincident with the origin. So I'm going to draw a line that runs from this point here. So I'm able to zoom in and out using the roller. And I can also rotate the drawing as well by clicking down on the roller, moving it around like so. I can also pan the sketch left to right by holding down Control, clicking down on the roller, and moving it about that way. And if I want to set my drawing normal again, I just click down on the space bar, and I can pick the orientation that I want. So I'm going to click on normal to, and I'm going to make my drawing go flat again. So let's keep going. So I'm going to click on this point right here, draw down, draw over, up, over, down, over, up, over, and then I'm going to connect it there. Alright, let's start adding in some dimensions. So I've got a dimension of 40 from here to here. And then I got a dimension of 150 here. I'll hit escape a few times, I had something selected. So I'll select 150 for here. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of get everything back into the shape that it was before. Sometimes when you start adding in dimensions, it'll rearrange some lines that are not fully constrained. So you just kind of got to put them back into the proper shape. So I've got 150 there, and then I've got looks like I got 20 on this line here, and then I've got 35 here, and I've got 5 from here to here. Okay. and I've got 25 here. Alright, and now I'm going to put this line and this line in line with each other. So I'm going to hit escape, get a smart dimension. So it's important that you not have smart dimensions selected when you're adding in relations, because it's not going to know what you want that you want to put in a relation. So whenever you got that highlighted, just hit escape a few times and that'll clear you out of that. So I'm going to left click on this line, hold down control, select this line, and let's see, looks like I got a point selected, so I'm going to clear out of that again. I'm going to select this line and select this line, and now I'm going to select collinear. And then I'll put those two lines in line with each other. So now it looks like I'm only missing is I need to put in a vertical relation for this line. So I'll left click on it, vertical, and I'm almost done with this drawing. Now I just need to clean it up using trim entities. So I'll left click, hold down the left click cursor, and drag through this line, and now I'm good. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to save this one as example 3. Alright, so that'll go ahead and do it for this video. If you could go ahead and leave me a like, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you really like what you've seen so far, go ahead and subscribe for more content like this. Until the next video, have a good one. Bye-bye.